All right, this is Ruby, and this is the Ruby Garnet Show. Let's do this. I'm not an LMHC, doctor, financial, or legal advisor. All choices are your own. You have this beautiful thing called free will. This is just in the event we get an accidental channel message in this episode. Just treat it like entertainment value only. You can drop whatever doesn't make sense, doesn't feel good to you. Because we really want to stick with what feels good to us. Most of the time, we are discussing alternative perspectives on things, maybe reflective processes, meditative practices, potentially. Right now, I'm really into the tarot, but sometimes we'll talk about other things as time goes on, like crystals and all sorts of cool stuff that, most of us people will admit deep down we want more of. I mean, I know I love rose quartz. Rose quartz has been my number one favorite stone for a long time. And I think the reason I started loving rose quartz was because my mother put it in four corners of her room. And I remember, she's not pagan. She's probably new agey Christian. Or open-minded Christian, we should say. And I remember thinking wow, that's pretty cool. I really love that. Having healing crystals in the four corners of our space. And and speaking of fours, I can't stop thinking about fours. It just refuses to escape my brain. And I'll have a moment and I'm thinking, I'll be thinking a thought. And I'm like, that's Four of Pentacles. Why am I still doing this? And then I'll remember the Lover's card that I brought up for myself a while back ago. And you're right. Yeah, you're right. I got to put the PIN code in 6666 because that's, being present in my body, accepting, being willing to like myself and being willing to say, I am worthy and deserving of so much. And I feel like I've been working on that for quite a long time. I have been. I'm getting deja vu right now because I'm pretty sure a long while ago I tried making an episode about that and I scrapped it because I didn't have the confidence to even bring it out to the real world, right? My self-value was very different back then. Trigger warning here, guys. Trigger warning a little bit. I struggled with severe depression, but the chronic kind, where you're functioning, you're doing things, right? You're breathing, you're shopping, you're just living, right? You're not really living. And I was chronically unhappy, and I've done a great I've done a lot. I pulled myself up quite a bit. I'm not the same person that I used to be, but it feels like I'm hounded by these negative thoughts, these feelings, and it can be really demoralizing at times because we think, well, I've been at this for a long time. Shouldn't I have miraculously somehow become this incredible, beautiful, perfect human being by now? And that's a controlling thought. That's a four of Pentacles thought. That the fact that we have to limit ourselves in the expression of what it means to be human. And I have to remind myself of that so often. And I think that's why I continuously get drawn to rose quartz. Because it's gentle, it's soothing, and I love roses. I'm always drawn to roses. I remember when I was young, I absolutely hated roses. I rejected it because I didn't want to be nice to myself. If I look back in time, that's the reason I didn't like roses. Because roses is someone unabashedly, courageously showing you absolutely how they feel about you. and it's so gentle at the same time. But there's no hiding anything. There's nothing there's no conditional something about roses. And we place a lot of conditions on ourselves. If I am not making enough money, that means I can't be nice to myself. If I'm not making enough money, then I can't go and do the thing I actually really love doing, right? If I'm not a nice enough person, I don't deserve that ice cream. I mean, there's a lot of conditions. So we were raised with conditions. So taking away the conditions, they do. They take time. They take work. They take a lot of practice. Sorry, I have to pause sometimes because I have throat chakra, both inactive and overactive. So I have to focus on the rose quartz in my throat right now. Okay. So, and I'm a little bit emotional, I'm not gonna lie. Because it's real for me too. It's not just for you guys. But I think that's why it's so important for us to kind of look like, I know when we see Four of Pentacles, we're thinking automatically money. And that's more often than not, Pentacles are about money, and that's true. But it's about the material side of things. But not only that, like if we think about where in the four corners is Pentacle energy, Earth, which is in the north. And right now, it is for me, if you're listening to this when this is being published, it's winter. It's winter time now, guys. That is Pentacle energy. I mean, if we're going to be really honest with ourselves, Earth energy is all kinds of different things, right? In the winter, the ground is hard. It's frozen. There may be some snow all around. Things are resting. And we're going to stick with that a little bit because I want to go elsewhere with this too a little bit, because we can go so many different places with the element of Earth. But let's stick with winter. It's a little different from being gentle, isn't it? But at the same time, it's very gentle, because in order for us to heal and recover, we do need to rest. And if we look at Four of Swords, that's all about resting. But where does Four of Swords lie in the four quadrants? That's depending on what you believe in. It could either be in air, which is east, or it could be in the south quadrant if you think swords energy is fire. That's not a very restful state to be in, you think, right? No, I don't really think so. And I'm not saying like we should stop interpreting the cards in a specific way just because of what I'm telling you, but it gives you something to think about, doesn't it? Right? Because I mean, when we're dealing with our money issues, we do have to rest. We do have to take a deep breath, because actually buying things can be a trigger. Because we're connecting it to the here and now, in the present moment. If we're thinking about Esther Hicks, our supposed current reality. Let's think about that a little bit, right? Now, this is going to be done in a couple different series. I can't believe I'm doing this series, but short series, because I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want to accidentally over-trigger you. I want us to think about this in a gentle sort of way. So I will stop this at 15 minutes. And then I'm going to make another episode for you where you guys can have a chance to take an intermission, if you will, and then you can come back to this and we can continue on another day. So we have about 5 more minutes left. Well, more like, let's say 10 minutes tops. But, you know, and for myself, I know from my own personal experience that I've always had an issue with money. I've had a big issue with money. And when I do really well, I like to blow it. Like I like to overspend it, which is the reverse for Pentacles. And so when we are like, I hate to say it, but we struggle with extremism in this country. And that might mean that, like, when we suddenly have money, we don't slow down, we don't think, we don't breathe, we don't ask ourselves when we don't have money, what would I do if I had money? So I think it's kind of important for us to let go of our current reality and make believe a little bit, have a little fantasy in our minds, while also to being grounded in the present moment, in the element of earth, and not overspend, because that is something, even when we do have money, we want to have healthy money habits, which is the total opposite of Four of Pentacles reversed. But I think the thing I like the most about Four of Pentacles is it's calling you to be grounded. It's earth energy. It's saying you need to be grounded in this present moment in time because you're being triggered by money, one way or another. You need to be grounded right now. And so when you're doing a spread and you see that, I want you to sometimes maybe wonder to yourself, do I need to be grounded? Do I need to take a pause, a deep breath? Do I need to come back to this issue another time because I'm too triggered to think about this clearly? And that can be a reflection you can bring up to yourself or to other people. And I think it bears consideration, true consideration. All right, so how does the Lover's card come into money-related issues? How does it come into that? So something for me that I find really important when I'm dealing with money issues is I try to stop my negative thinking right where it's at sometimes. I know, I get it. Don't worry, I get it, I do. But let's try. All right, have you ever thought, okay, so I have this random weird thought when I'm dealing with people that I think is connected to money, and hear me out. I can't afford to care too much. And I'll say this about when I'm having this fear of whether people are going to reject me or like me or care about me in my workplace, which is connected to money. So I'm trying to disconnect myself from my work environment and from the people who are in it, and that's connected to money. But because my workplace is connected to money, that's a problematic thought, because I should have positive feelings about my workplace so it can positively influence my money, or influence how I perceive my money, how it influences my usage of my money. So I've been trying to stop that when that happens and say, I do have complicated feelings about the people I work with. And a lot of it isn't anything personal to them. It is connected to how I currently feel. And then what I may do, I say, I enjoy the people I work with. I respect them highly. I enjoy being where I'm at currently. I recognize, though, that I want to be a writer. And so what I have been doing this is what I used to do. I used to get really fixated about anything work related because it's connected to money, and I'm afraid of losing money, right? Which is a nice Four of Pentacles negative experience to be had. I mean, a lot of us don't like that, right? We don't want to admit out loud that we are afraid of losing money. And that's why we have complicated feelings about our current workplaces more often than not. And so what I will do, because I'm trying to get away from fixating on the people that I work with or the situations that occur in my work environment, I remind myself that the job that I currently am pursuing, that I currently prefer, is being a writer. I want to be a writer. And so I remind myself, like, these are not the thoughts you want in your mind. You want thoughts involving your characters, involving plots, involving dialogue. If you should be focusing on anything, it's on that. And when you give focus to the negative aspects of this current workplace, you are basically sending in an order, like a food order of, this is what I want, this is what I want this. No. So you need to focus more on the work environment you are seeking. And the nice thing that has been occurring recently is my focus has actually been improving with my writing. I've been writing the most I've written in years. I'm writing tarot articles, I'm writing poetry, I'm working on a novel. Not that I'm not going to talk about at all, by the way. But I'm writing, and I'm very proud of myself. And so what I've been trying to do is, when I notice myself focusing internally on writing, I actually kind of congratulate myself, and I say, oh, I'm doing a really good job. I'm thinking about work. This is work. This is my work brain being used for good. I'm so impressed with myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking my career seriously for once. I'm doing pretty good bringing money to myself. I am constantly surrounded by money. I love spending money. I enjoy having it around me. I actually enjoy saving my money. I also too enjoy being generous with other people and giving them nice things or providing nice experiences. I really enjoy writing. Writing makes me happy, and when I do what makes me happy, money will soon follow. And these are the thoughts we want, and it can help us kind of wiggle our way out of Four of Pentacles energy. But in order for us to wiggle our way out of Four of Pentacles of energy, we do need to rest and shift dramatically our thinking. But like I said, you have to rest, because you need to pick up on these things we are doing that is not helping us at all. I'm repeating myself on purpose, by the way. I do that. I like to repeat myself because it's annoying. And if I annoy you long enough, eventually it's going to be in your head, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember Ruby talking about that. Oh, it's annoying. But I'm in your head now, man. I'm in your head. And I'm trying to do this on purpose to be nice. Because something at work, what we do, because we work with kids, is the tough part. It's always the tough part, is you have to rip the Band-Aid off. You do. And we were talking about warm demanders, and my lead teacher was talking about that, and I love that concept, right? Because you're setting limits in a friendly, kind way, but we're also doing that for ourselves. Like, for instance, like, I'm like, well, I have to do my chores before I can write, right? That's something like that's normal, right? You got to do household stuff first. You don't have to do everything, but you do need to do that. Like, I had to go shopping, and this is normal life stuff that I envision for myself when I do become a career writer, where this is something I will be doing. This is part of my ideal life, where I'm going to have time to do the dishes and time to do my laundry. It's going to happen. I want this badly enough for myself, but I want it in a gentle kind of way, because we want that rose energy. We want the rose quartz energy. So we keep on, bringing it forth mentally in our minds, because if we forget, we don't practice it. And that's why I'm being a little annoying with you. I gotta pause now. Throat chakra issues. Oh, we're getting into the end. So why don't we pause and we reconvene, or whatever that word I'm looking for, and we talk about this more, because maybe that's why I'm getting a throat chakra issue. Is Spirit saying enough is enough? All right. I love you all. Marry me, blessed be, amen, to good health, and have a wonderful day. Bye.